I'm here to talk to you about the small things that you can do, that we all do, that make a difference. Now, Nelson Mandela, an icon of mine, made a big difference. However, differences can be big or they can be small. I want to focus on the small differences that we can all make to somebody else's life. My story. I was born in a sunny town, Burton-on-Trent, England. Yes. My mum left my father when I was quite young. I remember talking to her about him, and he said he was a nice man, but selfish. Fast forward, we moved to London. I didn't know what to expect. However, my mum was a strong Jamaican woman. She wanted the best for me. She found us somewhere to live. She provided for us. Later on, she provided for my sister. I'm still not quite sure how she got a boyfriend, because I can't remember her going out. However, we got there. It was a great life. I was happy. Yes, we didn't have lots of money, but I was happy. Then, suddenly, she died. Still chokes me now. I was around 10 or 11, and I got my first real job. I became a young carer. A partner, Fred, he worked long hours and he liked to drink. So it was left to me to do the basics. I remember passing my 11 plus at school, which is interesting because now I found out I'm severely dyslexic. However, I passed my 11 plus and I got a place at a grammar school. My mum would have been so proud. But I didn't go to the grammar school. I wanted to be my mates. Most of my mates went to the local comprehensive school and they became my family. And I wanted to be with them. But I hated it, hated that school. And the highlight of the day really was going home with them and playing Tick. Remember that Tick? We played Tick for hours every night. I can't even remember how we knew who was on, but we'd play Tick on the way home. I'd get batter bits from the chip shop. I'd go and collect my sister, and then we'd go home. I'd get ready to feed and get ready for bed. But I was lost. I was lonely. I was grieving. Then one day, just out of the blue, Fred woke me. Wait, your dad's here. And my dad? I couldn't even remember who my dad was. I got dressed, walked into the lounge, and he sat there with two other men. I'm your dad. Oh, good for you. I had a choice because he said, I've come to collect you. I'm going to take you back to Derby with me. I'm going to look after you. Wow, that's fantastic. I'm going to look after you. I thought, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you not come now, I'll come back. Right. Then I made a choice that lives with me now. I decided to go with him. I decided that I was going to leave Fred and my sister behind. And you know, sometimes we leave things and we leave them behind. And I thought, was I being selfish? Anyway, I turned up at Derby, moved in with him, my dad and his girlfriend. She had two other boys. It was great initially. School was shit. Sorry, school was rubbish. Sorry, Ted. School wasn't very good. And Saturday nights, my dad was a reggae DJ, one of the best in the area. People loved him. They loved his music. He made them happy. And maybe that's what my mum thought when she said he was a good man, because he did share joy. But he was DJing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he'd come home late at night. And his girlfriend would wake me up because she was getting upset. Your dad's not here again. You need to go and pack your stuff because when he comes home, you're going with him. I think my dad slowly grew fed up of this and decided that me and him, were going to move to Burton, back to where it all started. I was happy. I was so happy. I was going to be with my dad. We were going to be together. Wow, that was going to be fantastic. We moved to Burton. Didn't materialise. My dad would disappear for weeks. He'd leave me. And every now and again he'd come, because the house that we were in was actually where he had blues. I don't know if anybody knows about blues. We'd have late night parties. So on a Friday and Saturday, we'd have a late night party and I'd be upstairs. And every now and again, I'd go away with him. It was great times. I'd be in his truck, we'd set the speakers up. Then I'd sit in the van all night, because I couldn't go in the nightclub, I was too young. And then he'd come, he'd take me home, he'd drop me off back at home, and then he'd go and see the girlfriend, the one who threw us out. I couldn't understand that. But things moved on. I started to get into trouble. Sorry. And things got really tough. I remember I joined a gang, really. I was a runt in that litter. I was the go for this, the go for that kid, you know? And I just did as I was told. But unfortunately, I became very friendly with the police. And I got a prize. I became a young offender. Yeah. And I got a beating from my dad. He said I'd let him down. Wow. Time moved on. And I remember being really hungry one day, and it still lives with me now. I remember being really hungry one day, and I went shopping. I had no money, as usual, but I went into the shop, and I stole a tin of Heinz baked beans, the ones with the sausages in. Oh, there are other makes, by the way, available. And I was about to leave. The shopkeeper grabbed me. Wait, where I go? Oh, turn your pocket up, man. So, tin of beans. He looked at the beans. He looked at me. And to be honest, I thought he was going to phone the police. I was ashamed. I was disappointed in myself, probably because I got caught. And he said, beans, take them, go on. So I walked off. And you know what? That moment lived with me because somebody showed me some kindness. Somebody recognized that I was a human being and I was just hungry. And that lived with me. And sometimes it's those small things that start to make a change. Now, my dad wasn't around much, and my uncle's girlfriend, Cindy, she lived next door at the time, and she started to look out for me, which was great, brilliant. And then we moved again, and she decided to enroll me at school, please. She kept saying, you need an education, you need to go to school, you need to go to school. So one day I went to school, and I turned up. My name's Roxrow Fearon. Who are you? I was just a name on that list. Where have you been? I was doing my go for this, go for that jobs. So anyway, I sat there waiting, not knowing what to do. And to be honest, I wanted to run. I wanted to go. Did I need an education? Did I need this? Probably not. No. However, in the distance, I saw this white, tall, bespectacled man, head of English, came over. He said, I'm Ken Evans. Who are you? I muttered him a few choice words, trust me. But he didn't flinch. He didn't stand back. He went, I'm Ken Evans. Pleased to meet you. Wow. He didn't see me as a problem. He saw me as a person. And I thought, great, okay. Days went, kept going to school. Ken would be there. Weird. He'd look out for me. How's your day been? Are you okay? He just checked in on me. He didn't ask me, he didn't judge me. He just checked in on me. And I said, great. And then one day we were chatting. We'd sit on the wall and have a chat. And he said, why don't you come around to my house and meet the family? Whoa. Meet the family. I actually lived fairly close to where they were. Big white house, massive doors, quite imposing. And I thought, whoa. And then, I don't know, things were pretty tough. I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was on my way to Borstal. And I don't know, I just decided, you know what? I'm going to check that out. I knocked on the door. And you know what? I never left. Really? Never left. I got a social worker. Never met them. Never saw them. The only thing I remember was her walking out the door. She made a decision that affected the rest of my life. But I didn't know them. I never met them. Just imagine that. Fostering was great. It has its ups and downs. In my case, more ups than downs. Fast forward, 17, I met my wife-to-be. I think she's here today. She says affectionately, at that time, I got a few work-ons. Yeah. Recently, I think on the way here, she said, actually, you've improved. But I look back and I think, right, I became a father at 18. Probably the biggest job we ever have. And people have spoke about it earlier. But I had lots of demons. I had lots of issues. I had lots of things that were going around my head. And I got a new mate. Depression. He was always there in the background, always following me around, always talking to me. You know that third voice in your head. But we got married. I became a husband. I went through engineering. I became an engineer. Then I became a youth leader. Then I became a volunteer with young offenders. Then I was a residential social worker. Then I was a residential home manager. Then I remember going to university and getting a diploma. And Ken, bless him, he was there. And he said to me, he looked at me and he went, did we let you down? And didn't quite know what he meant. And his wife, Jill, said, we didn't realize you had the capability. We just love you. Moving on. And life was a lot. I had lots of friends. I've gained friends. Friends were my family. They were the reason why I existed to a point. They looked out for me. And I decided I'd wanted to play rugby. So I started rugby. Another family I created. They were great. And I enjoyed it. And in sport, and I was quite good at sport, my skills were honed running from the police. I can remember that. And we used to hang around in the playgrounds, or after training, should I say, and those people used to advise me, they'd look out for me. They would be there all the time. And I appreciated that. And sport means quite a lot of things to lots of people. And I shout out to all the people who volunteer with young people and run those sport groups. You do a fantastic job. So, moving on. I'd like to say, because that time's running, I'd like to say that making a difference isn't always big. It doesn't have to be a massive gesture. It can be a quiet word. It can be a tin of beans. It can be a handshake. It can be just a small smile and just a bit of time to care, to say well done, even when it wasn't quite right. It's what you want to do. You don't know the difference you will have to other people's lives just by giving them a little bit of time. So all I'm asking you is to work with me, come on the journey, be that person to make a difference for other people. Thank you.